So with lesson 3, we are going to be looking at two different types of lines. For number 1, it says to consider the equation 0x plus y is equal to 5. So this is actually very similar to what we did in lesson 1, where they give you an x value and you find the y value, or you're given the y value and you find the x value. So the first two have been done for you. You were given -8 and you were given -4, and this is what you had to do to solve for these two. And when you substitute -8 in your equation and -4 into your equation, you see that you get y equals to 5 for both. So you're going to write the ordered pairs -8, 5 and -4, 5. And then you're actually going to fill in for 0, 4, and 8, filling each of those in here, and then doing what you need to solve to figure out what your y value is going to be for each of these. So since we know that x is 0, x is 4, and x is 8, 0, 4, 8, and then figuring out what your y value is for each of those, and you're actually going to make sure you fill in what your y values are here. And then instead of putting y, you need to put what the value for y is going to be equal to for this part. And after you've done that, I don't think this part is in your notes, but I do need for you to make sure that you write this down. So what is it that you notice about the y coordinate for each row of the ordered pairs? So if you hadn't noticed already, 0x plus y equals 5 is actually the same thing as just y equals 5, because we know that any number that we multiply by 0 is just going to be equal to nothing. It doesn't change the value of the equation at all. So saying 0x plus y equals 5 is the same thing as just having y equals 5. So this literally means, so if we're talking about y equals 5, we're talking about the y coordinate in every single ordered pair for this equation. This means that all of the ordered pairs will have a y coordinate that is equal to 5. And any equation of y equals, so in this case, y equals 5, it's going to create a horizontal line. And we're actually going to see on the next page what that looks like. So you should have already filled in the table, and these are actually the rest of the ordered pairs that you should have. So this is all 5 of your ordered pairs, and you are going to plot each of these ordered pairs on the coordinate plane. And then what we said here, we said any equation of y equals 5 is going to create a horizontal line. You should see a horizontal line when you graph all 5 of these points. And then I want you to notice where on the x-axis all of these lines cut through, okay? So you're going to have a horizontal line, and you want to look at what axis it actually cuts through. So -8, 5, -4, 5, and so on. And then for number 2, doing the same thing again, but this time instead of 0x plus y, you have x plus 0y. So this time using the same numbers, but now instead of substituting for x, you're going to substitute for y. The first two have been done for you, where you substituted instead of having 0, or excuse me, instead of having 0 times y, you have 0 times -8, and that gives you 0, so x plus 0 equals 2, which means x equals to 2. And then the same thing for the next one. You have x plus 0 times -4 is equal to 2. You know also that 0 times -4 is going to be equal to 0, so you have x plus 0 is equal to 2. And then we don't need the 0. It doesn't change anything to the equation, so you still have x is equal to 2. So this one, your ordered pair is going to be 2, -8, and then 2, -4. And then you're going to try on your own these last 3, showing what it looks like when you substitute each of your values for y into your equation, and then what value is it that you get for x for each of these. And for this one, you should see that your ordered pairs are going to be 2, -8, 2, -4, 2, 0, 2, 4, excuse me. So 2, -8, 2, -4, 2, 0, 2, 4, and 2, 8. And you'll notice for every single one of these, similar to what we said for the first one, making sure you have this again. So x plus 0y equals to 2 is the same thing as just having x equals 2. Same thing we said before with 0x. 0 times x is just going to be 0. So we technically don't need it. The same thing if we have 0 times y. 0 times y, whatever we use for 0, it's not going to equal to anything. So we technically don't need it, and we can simplify the equation as just x equals 2. So this means that all of the ordered pairs will have an x coordinate equal to 2. And that's what you see happening with each of these ordered pairs here. Every single one of them has an x coordinate equal to 2. It does not matter what your y coordinate is, as long as your x coordinate is equal to 2, because your equation says x equals 2. So any equation starting with x equals is going to create a vertical line. So you are actually going to plot all 5 of these points, and then you'll actually see the vertical line that is created. And then I want you to also see which axis this actually cuts through. So for the y equals, what axis does it cut through for this one? And then for this one, when you have x equals, what axis does it cut through for this one? And you'll actually see for those examples that we've done, they have graphed either a vertical line or a horizontal line. Now for number 3 and number 4, the directions are down at the bottom, so please make sure that you follow this part. So since it says y is equal to 3, this just means that every single ordered pair that you create, it does not matter what your x coordinate is, you just know that your y coordinate has to be equal to 3. So I've actually started off and I've given you an x coordinate for all 5 of your ordered pairs, but you just want to make sure that your y coordinate is equal to 3. So instead of saying negative 10y, just as an example, instead of this being negative 10y, this is going to be negative 10, 3. And for the next one, instead of negative 5 and y, is going to be negative 5, 3. So then you are going to figure out what the other 3 are going to be, and you are going to list these 5 ordered pairs on the side, just like it is here, and then you are actually going to plot these points on your graph. Now, once you've plotted them, I need for you to answer this question down at the bottom. Do you get a vertical line or a horizontal line that's created when you plot these points? For number 4, you're doing the exact same thing, but this time you are substituting for x. So x is equal to negative 8. So that means all 5 of your ordered pairs that you create, x is going to be equal to negative 8. So doing the same thing for the first one, x negative 10 is now going to be negative 8 negative 10. And then for the next one, instead of x negative 5, it's going to be negative 8 negative 5. So you're going to fill these in here and figure out what the other 3 ordered pairs are going to be as well. You're going to plot all 5 of your ordered pairs on the coordinate plane, and then answering the same question again. Do you get a vertical line or a horizontal line? For number 5 and number 6, doing the exact same thing. I won't explain everything all over again after doing number 3 and number 4. Hopefully you understand this a bit better, but you are doing the same thing with number 5 and number 6, substituting for the value that they give you for x and substituting for the value that they give you for y, and then answering the question, do you get a vertical line or horizontal line? And then for number 7, doing the exact same thing, 7 and 8, this time x is equal to 0, so all of your ordered pairs are x is equal to 0. For number 8, all of your ordered pairs were y is equal to 0, plotting your points, creating your line. And then for this one, what axis are all 5 points on? So when you plot all 5 of these points for number 7, which axis are you on? When you plot all of these points for number 8, what axis are you on for this one here? So it's the same thing. Same thing as you done with the other ones. And for this last part, so normally all of the ones that we did in the previous examples, we did not have a coefficient other than 1. So like this x that you see here is like 1x, or this y that you see here is 1y. But you'll notice with this example here for number 9, you don't have x equals 7, you have 2x equals 7. So we actually have to simplify like we've done with previous equations where we divide on both sides. And the way that looks is this here. So if I've got 2x equals 7, I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. And when I divide by 2 on both sides, I get 7 halves. And 7 halves is the same thing as 3 and 5/10. So x is equal to 3 and 5/10. So I'm going to be looking for which of these graphs shows a line that passes through 3 and 5/10 on the x-axis. So since it says x equals 3.5, you're going to be looking for which one of these lines cuts through the x-axis at 3.5. Is it A, B, C, or D? And then just some examples so that you understand how to do the last page. So we have another example where we have 3x equals 9. So to simplify this equation so it looks like the other ones that we've been graphing, we divide by 3 on both sides. So this is telling me that x equals 3. So then I just created 5 different ordered pairs where I have my x coordinate is equal to 3 for every single one of them. And then I just picked any number that I wanted for the y value. That part didn't matter, so long as it fits on your graph. But my main thing was making sure that x is equal to 3. Same thing with this uh, 3y and 4y. Same thing as if it was 3x and 4x. You also need to make sure that you have these down as well, because these are going to be examples that are used to help you when you do your exit ticket as well. Dividing by 3 on both sides. And this time, since it's y equals to 3, I made sure that all of my ordered pairs had a y coordinate that was equal to 3. And then I picked whatever number I wanted for my x value. So you are actually going to do very similar to these up here at the top. You are going to do the exact same thing with number 10 and number 11 down at the bottom. And if it helps, you can actually create 5 ordered pairs of your own for this one and plot them so that you know how to graph your line. Or if you already understand without having to create ordered pairs, you're going to plot for number 10 where y equals -3. Where is that going to be on your line? And then for number 11, where is x equals 2.5? Where is that going to be on your coordinate plane? But this concludes lesson 3.